I'm on 560 westbound, just past, I believe, the Buffalo exit, and I think there's a body on the side of the road.
To die of a death of that, a gruesome death, it was just gut-wrenching to see that. It's something that'll stick with me the rest of my life.
North Carolina, a state known for its diverse landscape and cultural offerings, is facing a higher crime rate, and today we delve into one of its most disturbing cases. The victim was identified as a 21-year-old university student, Latrice Curtis. Latrice Curtis, born as Latrice Mattal Jones in 1986, was a constant companion to her father, Justin, and Marlon. The violence was so extreme that when the police discovered her, it seemed as though her body had been drained of all its blood. She had been stabbed so many times that it was very clear that there were gaping holes in her skin that had been sliced open. This was absolutely a targeted murder because of the number of stab wounds that were on her body. It wasn't just "I want her dead," it was "I want her beyond dead." The pressing questions were, who could be desperate enough to commit such a gruesome act in the middle of the highway?
We did a lot of fishing. I even took her hunting one time. I taught her everything that I knew about basketball. I taught her to dribble. I taught her to shoot. I taught her the layups. She was a daddy's girl all the way. No doubt about it.
Remaining the same throughout her time in junior high, things took a turn for Latrice in high school. She was now blossoming into a full-fledged woman and began engaging in all the typical activities of a teenager.
I think that she got her nails painted and got her hair done, and that was the end of basketball.
Latrice, a popular high school girl with an infectious smile, was loved by her friends. Despite her popularity, she stayed out of trouble due to her father's role as a juvenile corrections officer. Latrice attended Bennett College, Wake Tech Community College, and North Carolina Central University, pursuing an accounting major. Despite her success, she remained humble and supportive, offering honest opinions and being there for her friends during tough times. During her first semester at NCCU, Latrice crossed paths with Darren Lee Curtis, a fellow accounting student and former National Guard soldier. Darren, who was 5 years her senior, also hailed from Raleigh. While dating might not have been Latrice's immediate focus, her connection with Darren was special. They quickly hit it off, and it was evident to everyone that they were deeply in love. Latrice and Darren, both dedicated to their accounting careers, decided to commit to each other after just 1 year of dating. Despite their seriousness and part-time jobs, the couple exchanged vows in April 2007. Despite Latrice's introduction of Darren to her family, the wedding was met with intense scrutiny, especially from Latrice's protective father, Sherman.
The thing that wasn't respectful to me was that he never said anything to me about wanting to marry my daughter. I feel like he should have came and talked to me about it, but they never told me anything.
The marriage was also a surprise for Latrice's friends, as she kept everything quiet. Latrice and Darren moved into an apartment in Austin Grove, Raleigh, filled with hopes for a prosperous future. However, their future was tragically disrupted on January 29, 2008. Latrice shifted her classes to evenings, focusing on work and future planning. She contemplated starting a family, but her friend Anisha Baldwin expressed concerns about Darren's readiness. On the cold winter morning of January 30th, David Jones noticed something on Interstate 540, causing him to stop and look to the right.
I was traveling to a meeting going along 540, and as I was driving, I noticed something on the shoulder of the road.
He noticed a dead body on an embankment and immediately called 911 to report the shocking sight.
I'm on 560 westbound, just past, I believe, the Buffalo exit, and I think there's a body on the side of the road.
A woman was found dead on an embankment of I-540 near Buffalo exit. The woman was stabbed multiple times, causing severe injuries and gaping holes in her skin. Homicide detectives estimated she had been dead for several hours. The body was sent for autopsy, but no identification was found. The search for clues continued, and Latrice's father, Sherman, was watching the news.
Breaking news. Body found on I-540. Had a tarp over it. Nothing clicked.
Sherman attempted to contact Latrice but was unsuccessful. Police discovered a phone turned off and exposed to rain, and a white Nissan sedan believed to belong to the victim. Blood was found and the console was broken, indicating the attack occurred within the vehicle. DNA samples were collected and the license plate was registered in the name of 21-year-old Latrice Curtis. Darren Latrice's husband called 911 the same morning.
Girl 911, where's your emergency?
I live in Raleigh, but my wife goes to school out at North Carolina Central, and she did not come home last night. I talked to her last night. She was on her way home. She was in the car and everything. She hadn't showed up.
The last known place she was at NCCU. Did you talk to her while she was driving?
Yes, she had the radio on and everything. She told me she was stopping to get something to eat. I don't know if she was still in Durham when she called me or she was on 540 coming back in Raleigh.
Darren received a call from Latrice, who was on her way home. During the investigation, he stopped on I-540 and noticed his wife's car. Sherman contacted the sheriff's department, learning that his daughter had passed away, causing a devastating loss for the family.
Me and my wife, we didn't say a word to each other going down there. Not one single word. We got down there, it's probably about 11 o'clock. And they had us sitting in this room. They finally came out and told us that the girl's body that they found on 540 was identified as Latrice.
Around 11 a.m., Darren Curtis, the spouse of the victim, was arrested after falling asleep and not seeking his wife Latrice. The detectives found his story peculiar as he woke up the next morning to find Latrice missing. Darren's lack of an alibi and nonchalance about Latrice's disappearance further sparked disappointment among the Latrice family. Curtis cooperated with authorities, providing fingerprints and DNA samples and allowing photographs. Searches found no wrongdoing, and neighbors reported a happy couple. Darren was later released without any evidence linking him to the crime. However, a significant lead emerged, leading to the investigation of a deadly love triangle. The case is a tale of lies, secrets, and a dark love triangle. Robert was a familiar figure in the church communities of North Carolina. Latrice family had no prior knowledge of him.
Didn't know nothing about Robert Reeves. Never seen him before in my life. I'm looking at him, okay, my daughter's 21. This dude's 50-something. What in the world is going on? How did she know this guy?
In 2008, authorities interrogated Robert Reeves about his connection with Latrice Curtis and how his car ended up near the crime scene. Reeves provided little information but mentioned giving his car to his roommate Stephen Randolph, who was a fellow accounting student at NCCU. Police took DNA fingerprints and photos but lacked substantial evidence against him. As a result, the murder investigation became more complex, with 3 men now under suspicion for the same crime. Detectives started investigating Stephen, a senior at NCCU, who shared the same academic year with Latrice, a talented basketball player. They engaged in a clandestine affair in February 2008, 2 days before the murder. Stephen admitted to the affair but downplayed its seriousness. They grew close while attending classes and started their relationship in September 2007. Latrice kept the affair hidden from Stephen's friends and family, possibly out of fear of disapproval. Stephen had a relationship with Latrice, who later revealed she might be pregnant. Stephen and his girlfriend Velma had been receiving strange phone calls and had borrowed Robert's car. Stephen was arrested, but not ruled out as a suspect. The police were left with speculations about Stephen's motives, Latrice's deception, and Robert's involvement. Kimberly Parker, one of Latrice's closest friends, received an odd call from Latrice's cell phone.
I was in my bed and my phone was ringing. Latrice usually doesn't call late at night. That was kind of strange to me. So I picked up the phone. I heard a lot of movement. I heard cars driving by. It sounded like it was close to the highway. Something inside me just told me to just remain on the phone. I was saying, Latrice, 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 until I hung up the phone.
Concerned Kimberly dialed back, but the call went straight to voicemail. Little did she anticipate the kind of news that awaited here the next time she heard Latrice's name.
I got off work And I went in my mother's room, and my mother, she was like, Kimberly, that body they found, that was Latrice. And all I could say was no. No, because she called me last night. I was just like, no, I don't think it's her. And she kept saying, yes, it is. And that's when I broke down.
Latrice died from several injuries, including a slit throat, 40 stab wounds, and a blunt force injury. The killer then used her phone to contact her loved ones, possibly for sadistic pleasure or misinformation. An arrest was made on February 2nd, 2008.
About 2 o'clock in the morning, sheriff called me. Told me, we have the man that killed your daughter in jail. We jumped up, we hugged, we laughed, we cried. We're so happy. And I only had one question. Who did it?
To the shock of many, the individual turned out to be Robert Reeves, who was accused of first-degree murder despite his protests of innocence. Incriminating evidence was discovered, including his DNA found on the steering wheel and other items inside Latrice's car. No additional charges were brought against anyone else. The revelation was met with disbelief by those who knew Robert particularly, considering his standing as the bishop, a respected figure in the religious community. But why would a man with the least connection to Latrice's killer? Was he acting on behalf of someone else, or did he harbor a far more sinister motive? The true motives behind Robert's actions didn't become clear until the trial began on September 29, 2009. The trial of Robert Reeves commenced in a Wake County courthouse. The proceedings revealed the dual life led by Robert Reeves, who was known for his abusive behavior. Stephen Randolph met Robert in 2007 while struggling financially, and was offered a job at his house. However, he soon realized that Robert made inappropriate advances towards him, including offering free rent. Stephen borrowed a 9mm Ruger to protect himself. Suddenly, they received threatening phone calls from an anonymous caller. Robert was found to have 3 phones, including a fun phone, which matched the calls Stephen and his girlfriend received. Further investigation revealed that the phone's location also aligned with where the tires have been slashed. The defense argued that Robert Reeves had a disability, a half-paralyzed left arm, and minimal grip, making it impossible to stab Latrice multiple times. After 2 days of deliberations, the jury determined that the state had provided evidence to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Reeves had killed the Latrice on October 9, 2009. The 44-year-old Robert Reeves was found guilty of the first-degree murder of 21-year-old Latrice Curtis and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, and was given a life sentence. The father of the victim expressed heartbreak, expressing relief that the killer was caught, and the pain of losing Latrice never left them.
I really don't know what the word closure means, because I hear it all the time, but it's been 12 years, and I ain't got no closure yet. So I guess I'm still waiting on it to come. I see her every day, and it ain't closed yet. It's still there. It's still there. I still cry. I still wonder why.
As we conclude the story, this tragic murder surely leaves a lasting impression on our minds. Latrice may have made a few wrong choices in life, but in no way did she deserve to have her life taken in such a horrific way at the age of 21, with her whole life ahead of her. What's your take on this story? What do you think made Robert so desperate to commit such a gruesome crime? Or do you believe there were more secrets to this deadly love triangle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.